I'd like to call the Monday, September the 24th, Blue Springs Planning Commission meeting to order. If I could please ask you to please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening and those that are watching. Our agenda for this evening is number 1 is the consent agenda. 2 is a public hearing conditional use permit for Chapman Farms Pump Station. Number 3 is the public hearing rezoning for Hoot Owl, and it's also related to 4 and 6. Number 4 will be the public hearing plan development concept, also for Hoot Owl. Number 5 is the preliminary plat for Chapman Farms Pump Station, which we will hear at the same time we will hear number 2. Item 6 is the preliminary plat for Hoot Owl. 7 will be other business and finalized by adjournment. So with that, I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
I move that the minutes from the September 10th meeting in the Planning Commission be approved as submitted by staff.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign for those opposed. Motion carried for the consent agenda. So item 2 is a public hearing, which I will read the instructions for the public hearing. We'll hear item 2 and 5 together, which is public hearing conditional use, and item 5 is the preliminary plat for Chapman Farms. So first let me read the instructions for the public hearing. I'll open the public hearing, call for exhibits from our city attorney. Staff will open up and make their presentation. The applicant will then have a chance to make their presentation. Call for witnesses in favor as well as those opposed. We'll have some general discussion and I'll close the public hearing, at which time we will vote and make our recommendation to the city. So with that, I will call the public hearing for the conditional use Chapman Farms. I'll open that and ask City Attorney, please read the exhibits.
Madam Chairman, I offer the following exhibits into the record. Exhibit 1, staff report with attachments. 2, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on September 8, 2018. 3, application with attachments. 4, 185-foot notification map. 5, names and addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site. 6, copy of the letter sent to said property owners. 7, Title IV Land Use Section, Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference. And 8, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference.
Thank you. Mr. Wright?
All right, thank you, Chairman Banks and Commissioners. Before this evening are 2 requests related to a proposed storage tank and pump station for Public Water Supply District number 13, which serves much of the southern portion of Blue Springs, including the Chapman Farms area. The proposed site includes 1.81 acres north of the city's lift station, which is north of the Shores at Chapman Farms subdivision, which is at the north end of Southeast 1st Street, east of Chapman Farms Lake. The subject property is currently zoned SF7, single-family residential. The first request is for a conditional use permit to allow a utility major use on the subject property. Utility major land uses may be permitted with a conditional use permit in any zoning district and include a variety of public utility facilities, including water tanks and pump stations. Water District 13 is proposing a 41-foot tall ground storage tank, approximately 106 feet in diameter, a 9.5 feet tall pump station that is approximately 638 square feet, and then an approximately 100 square foot generator to the northeast of the pump station. The proposed site improvements are generally at the same scale as the city's sewer lift station, which is on the property to the south of this site. Since there's not a specific building type for utilities, the staff has evaluated the setbacks based on the site and the surrounding properties. Staff has determined that a minimum 5-foot setback from the north and west property lines is most appropriate, which will still allow maintenance around the perimeter of the site. Since the site is surrounded by SF7 single-family zoning, no additional buffering is required. The applicant will be installing a 6-foot chain link fence for security purposes, but no additional landscaping is proposed nor required, as the site already has significant vegetation that will be preserved on the eastern half of the site. Access to the property is provided through the city's lift station property that connects to Southeast First Street, which is the end of the cul-de-sac and the shores of Chapman Farms. There are no parking requirements for the site, but areas labeled as gravel parking on the site plan are required to comply with the UDC paving requirements, which must be hard surface and dust-free. Therefore, the applicant will need to apply asphalt or concrete with the gravel to meet these requirements. The second request is for a preliminary plat for the subdivision. Let me bring that up. The preliminary plat is shown above. It's not adjacent to any public streets, so there are no public improvements required. Staff is currently reviewing easements for both access and utility extensions to the site from the south. A final plat must be approved and recorded prior to the issuance of any building permits on the site. And staff does recommend approval of the conditional use permit with 3 conditions in the staff report and 2 conditions in the preliminary plat. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions for staff? Yes, Commissioner.
Yes, I'm looking at the drawing that you've got up there right now. It looks like the right-of-way access goes from the city's property through Mr. Frost's property to this property. Is there a right-of-way easement through that corner of that property as well?
I'll let the applicant, I believe that they have discussed that with Mr. Frost. I'm not sure where they're at in that conversation. But there also needs to be some additional access easement on the city's property. The city is reviewing that language right now, and that'll be done with the final plat.
Both of those would be done with the final plan?
Yes, and I'll let the applicant speak to any conversation that they've had with Mr. Frost on his portion of the property.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner.
Mr. Wright, could you confirm that the sight line from, I believe that topographically, the 41-foot storage tank will be below sight line at lake level?
Yes, I believe that was one of the conditions of sale of the property, was that the top of the water tank would not be taller than the dam at Chapman Lake.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, would the applicant like to come forward? And you will need to be sworn in and give your name, please.
Sure. My name's Scott Fleming.
I'm swearing testimony about the evidence case. Can you prove something about?
I do.
Need your name and address.
Scott Fleming, 3920 Southwest London Circle, Lee Summit, Missouri. Ms. Banks and Commission, thank you for letting us speak tonight. We're here just to offer and answer any questions you have, and speaking to the question that was brought up before about access. We are in discussion with the property owner about simply an access egress easement over essentially the existing sanitary sewer easement that already exists. Small corner there. And that will be worked out as we move forward.
Are there any other questions for the applicant? I gather not. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Is there anyone that would like to come and speak in favor? In opposition? Any other discussion?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Commissioner?
I'd like to ask staff if any of the 185-foot notification letters were returned.
No, sir.
And did we have any letters of objection?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Call for roll call.
Need a motion.
Oh, I need a motion. Boy, I'm fast. I get really going on this stuff. I would entertain a motion for the public hearing. We'll hear them both. You can make a motion for both, but we will vote on this one. Go ahead and vote on just the public hearing. Make a motion for the public hearing first.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I would move for approval of the conditional use permit CUP 08186553 with the 3 staff conditions.
Okay,
Second?
thank you. Roll call.
Planning Commissioner Veal,
Aye.
Commissioner Cradoff,
Aye.
Commissioner Casey,
Aye.
Commissioner Graham,
Aye.
Commissioner Fairbanks,
Aye.
Commissioner Peel,
Aye.
Commissioner Haney,
Aye.
Commissioner Billups,
Aye.
Chairman Banks.
Aye. Motion carried. All right. Okay, I would entertain, since we've already heard item 5, entertain a motion for the preliminary plat for Chapman Farms.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner?
I move the preliminary plat PP 08186554 with the 2 conditions be approved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign opposed. Motion carried. Thank you. So the preliminary plat for Chapman Farms has been approved as well. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we'll go now. I'll open the public hearing for Hudal. We will hear 3, 4, and 6 together. So I'll ask our city attorney to please read the exhibits.
Madam Chairman, for public hearing for rezoning RZ 08186556, I offer the following exhibits into the record. Exhibit 1, staff report with attachments. 2, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on September 8, 2018. 3, application with attachments. 4, 185-foot notification map. 5, names and addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site. 6, copy of the letter sent to said property owners. 7, Title IV Land Use Section, Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference. And 8, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference. And for the public hearing for the Plan Development Concept Plan, PDC 08186558, I offer the following exhibits into the record. Exhibit 1, staff report with attachments. 2, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on September 8, 2018. 3, application with attachments. 4, 185-foot notification map. 5, names and addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site. 6, copy of the letter sent to said property owners. 7, Title IV Land Use Section, Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference. And 8, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mallon?
Thank you, Chair and fellow planning commissioners. The 3 requests before you are a rezoning, a PD concept plan, and a preliminary plat. The proposal for the rezoning includes about 40 acres and would rezone the property from SF7/PRO or single family planned residential overlay to SF7/ or SF7PD or single family / planned development. It also includes a planned development concept plan to develop property generally located on the east and west sides of Adams Dairy Parkway, north of Major Road. The property is highlighted here by the black and white line. Adams Dairy Road, or Adams Dairy Parkway, excuse me, runs right through the middle of the properties. These, as you may remember, were before you a few weeks ago as Hudal Ridge and Hudal Acres, which were separate rezoning requests for the 2 individual projects. The applicant has revised that request, resubmitted that, and is now being heard as a singular rezoning request and a singular planned development concept plan and a singular preliminary plat. So I just want to make that clear. The planned development zoning district designation is being requested to be able to provide a coordinated master plan as well as alternative development standards than would otherwise be required under the Unified Development Code, and I will outline those in a moment. But that planned development concept plan and rezoning are linked together. The Hudal planned development concept plan does still include the names of Hudal Ridge and Hudal Acres. However, within this overall concept plan, they are separate planning areas, if you will, with different development standards applying to one of the sides, the Hudal Ridge side, which is on the east side of Adams Dairy Parkway, and different development standards applying to the Hudal Acres, which is on the west side of Adams Dairy Parkway, and I'll have a map for you here in a minute. Both of the sites are currently vacant. This is the overall Hoot Owl Plan Development Concept Plan with north facing to the left of the screen. The Hoot Owl Ridge project is on the east side of Adams Dairy Parkway. And it is proposed for detached housing, large lot building types under the Unified Development Code, and then alternative development standards, which I'll go through, related to such things as lot frontage and maximum lot area for the large lot building type. The Hoot Owl Acres on the bottom of the screen to the west of Adams Dairy Parkway would be developed as detached housing neighborhood lot, which are a little bit smaller lot sizes. And those also have alternative development standards for such things as maximum lot square footage and lot frontages and things of that nature. There are two access points for the Hoot Owl Ridge planning area. One would be on Southeast Major Road, as well as one onto Adams Dairy Parkway. For the Hoot Owl Acres planning area, there would be two accesses off of Southeast Major Road. The Hoot Owl Ridge planning area is proposed for 44 detached houses, ranging in size from a little over 1/4 of an acre all the way up to 3.4 acres, approximately in size, with an average lot size of 0.45 acres. The Hoot Owl Acres portion on the west will provide for 35 detached houses, ranging in size from 0.16 acres up to 0.41 acres in size, with an average lot size of 0.26 acres, so just over 1/4 of an acre. Public streets will provide access to all of the homes within both planning areas and the overall development as required by code. Sidewalks will be provided as required by code. Stormwater is being provided separately for each planning area. So the stormwater for Hoot Owl Acres will be detained within their own site of this planning area, and that is proposed in this landscape tract here, tract C, I believe, which is along the northern portion, adjacent to the existing electrical substation. The Hoot Owl Ridge stormwater will be detained in two separate detention areas along the northern portion of the site. In this location here, up at the T of this intersection, and also another one down here further to the west. The floor area classifications, Hoot Owl Ridge on the east side of the street is proposed to be a Class E, which requires a minimum livable floor area of 1,800 square feet, which is similar to the classification of Willow Tree, which is the most directly adjacent subdivision. The classification for Willow Tree is also in E, based upon the private covenants that have been established for the Willow Tree subdivision. The classification for Hoot Owl Acres is proposed to be a Class H, which is a 1,200 square foot minimum livable floor area. And since there are no directly abutting subdivisions to that subdivision itself, there are no classifications to which it needs to be similar to. The road, Adams Dairy Parkway, is enough of a separation to divide the two subdivisions, so that staff does not consider those two subdivisions to be directly adjacent to one another, and therefore the class step-down rules of the Unified Development Code wouldn't apply because there is a intervening street between the two. It only applies to subdivisions that are directly adjacent to one another. Open space under the SF7 zoning, developments are required to provide 10% of the area for open space. At 40 acres, that would be approximately 4 acres in open space. That is being provided through a mix of open space tracts, landscape buffering along Adams Dairy Parkway on both sides of Adams Dairy Parkway. For the Hoot Owl Ridge portion, they're providing an open space detention tract, 2 open space detention tracts, as well as a Tract C, which has a playground amenity for additional open space there. The Hoot Owl Acres is providing an open space and detention tract here, as I previously mentioned, as well as another open space tract down here adjacent to the cul-de-sac on the west side. In total, they do provide the minimum 4 acres required. The final landscape plan, final open space square footages and everything will be determined with the plan development final plan and at the final plat to ensure that those numbers for the open space are being met. The PD concept plan, again, is being requested because there are some modifications to the development standards that they would like to see. In essence, they would like to develop a variety of lot sizes under each of the separate building types, to paraphrase it. So for example, I'll go through these. On the Hoot Owl Ridge portion specifically, they are using the code building type of a detached house, large lot, which sets minimum and maximums in terms of the lot frontage and lot sizes. And so in order to develop the range of lot sizes they want to, they would ask to get rid of the maximum lot size for that, as well as reduce the lot size on one lot to be able to provide that mix of lot sizes while still maintaining the same setbacks, a uniform setback pattern for all the houses within that Hoot Owl Ridge section. Specifically, they are asking for reductions to reduce the minimum lot frontages on lots 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 34, 35, 40, 41, and 42. And all of those lots are on these 3 cul-de-sacs here. And so the minimum lot frontage is measured kind of a step back from I think it's called the chord, not great at geometry, but where that in essence is measured kind of in this location here. And because of the shape of the cul-de-sac and the shape of the lots, they're not able to meet the minimum lot frontage on those lots, so they're asking for a reduction in that. However, staff feels comfortable with that reduction given that each of these lots is still significant in size and is going to be able to meet the maximum driveway coverages and minimum building setbacks. And so it's a little bit more narrow at the front of the cul-de-sac, but as the almost pie-shaped lot spreads out, the lot gets bigger in size, is able to accommodate the houses. In addition, they are asking to, as I mentioned, reduce the minimum lot size for lot 15 to just under, I believe it's one of these lots that's just under the minimum lot size. And staff is okay with that and does support that, given that there is an offsetting number of larger lots that would be allowed within the detached house category. And that leads me to the next one, which is to remove the maximum lot area for lot 15, which is this lot here. The maximum lot size under a detached house large lot is 1 acre. And so in order to develop the 3.4 acre lot within this subdivision and still maintain the same setbacks, uniform development pattern with all the other houses, they would ask to remove that. They've also asked to reduce the required minimum tree plantings along Adamsbury Parkway from 60 plant units for every 100 feet, which is required under the code, to 55 plant units every 100 feet. And this is being requested due to the substantial existing trees inventory that is already out there and trying to incorporate that into the development. The Hoot Owl Acres portion, the request for the concept plan is specifically requesting the minimum lot frontage to be reduced for lots 28, 29, and 30, because again, they are also on a cul-de-sac and are narrower at the front of the lot and then spread out as they develop to the rear of the lot. But again, they are substantially larger lots as they get bigger to accommodate that offsetting lot frontage, but will still be able to meet all the minimum requirements. They would also like to remove the maximum lot area for lots 1, 3, 13, 14, 18, 21, 22, 26, 27, 29, 30, 33, 34, and 35 to allow these lots within this planning area to be larger than 12,000 square feet. which is the maximum allowable lot size within the detached house neighborhood lot building standards under the code. So those, quite a few number of homes there would be larger than what would normally be allowed in the neighborhood lot building type. They are requesting for a reduced minimum lot size on lot 24 to be below the required 7,000 square feet. And staff, again, supports that request as it is, does coincide or is offset, by the considerable amount of lots that are over the maximum lot size that would be typically allowed. Again, as with Hudal Ridge, the Hudal Acres planning area portion is also asking to reduce the required plantings along Adams Dairy Parkway from 60 plants for every 100 feet to 55 plants, again, due to the existing plant material that is on Adams Dairy Parkway. Two final points. The architecture has not been determined at this time for the single-family homes. However, building elevations will be included with the PD final plan. Landscaping will also be finalized at the time of the PD final plan, and a final landscape plan will be required. Based upon the initial concept plan and preliminary plat drawings for Hudal Ridge and Hudal Acres, it does appear that they are meeting the landscape requirements or able to meet those in terms of street trees and buffer requirements with the PD exception that I previously mentioned. Based upon staff's review of the Hudal applications, the 3 applications, staff has the following recommendations. Staff recommends approval of the rezoning based upon the criteria outlined in the Unified Development Code. Staff finds that the proposed rezoning from SF7 PRO to SF7 PD is in accordance with the comprehensive plan designation of mixed density neighborhood for the properties, which are areas for residential living designed in a neighborhood pattern with a range of housing formats. Second, the rezoning furthers the intent of the SF7 zoning district by still providing for detached housing. The change by removing the planned residential overlay from the Colonial Highlands project, which is how that PRO zoning came in effect, and replacing that with a planned development standard maintains the integrity of development and high quality of development, and just provides for alternative regulations for the development of that project. Approval of the rezoning will further contribute to the high-quality residential character of adjacent subdivisions and enhance the existing and proposed development in the area. The proposed development will comply with the UDC in all aspects except as provided for specifically in the planned development concept plan that I previously mentioned, those requests for modifications. The proposed rezoning does not have any negative impacts of the ability to provide services such as water or sewer or facilities or other programs should these applications be approved. Approval of the rezoning will allow for the development of vacant parcel land with detached dwelling units that are compatible in scale and size and intensity of adjacent properties, and thus will not negatively impact the condition or value of property within the city. The SF7 PRO zoning was established, as I previously mentioned, with the original Colonial Highlands development. Since that time of approval many years ago, the property has changed ownership, and there's a new developer involved who wishes to develop a different plan with some different development standards. And thus, staff feels that change from a PRO, while still in placing or imparting a PD development for high-quality development, is a good and orderly function and will be a benefit to the city, and will have a variety of houses that typically would be larger than what the previous PRO would have allowed. And the application is consistent with other adopted policies in the city, such as providing a range of housing options that allow people to remain in their neighborhood through various stages of life, and integrating housing choices into neighborhoods and corridors. Staff is recommending the rezoning with no conditions. Staff recommends approval of the PD concept plan with the 4 conditions outlined in the staff report. Staff finds that the PD concept plan provides a desirable housing product in the city in a coordinated development master plan. And the benefits and flexibility within that PD concept plan promote the general public health, safety, and welfare. And that, again, the development propose a desirable housing product that is compatible with adjacent neighborhoods. Third, staff finds that the benefits of the flexibility within the PD concept plan meet or exceed the intent of the base SF7 zoning district and will create a cohesive development with high-quality building design and materials. The plan generally reflects accepted sound planning and urban design principles. And finally, that the proposed PD concept plan meets all of the review criteria for a rezoning map amendment as noted above. Finally, staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat application based upon the UDC criteria with the 12 conditions noted in the staff report. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions before turning it over to the applicant.
Are there any questions? Yes, Commissioner Billups.
Three things. Is staff okay with the length of the single entrance cul-de-sac street there in the acres that you've got up on the board right now? It's a really long street not to have a secondary access without any going into a cul-de-sac.
Yes, we have reviewed that, and we did not get any feedback from the fire department, or who would typically make those types of comments about a secondary point of access being required. It's typically a comment that's required by the local fire district, and we did not get any comments like that. And based upon that and the design, staff was comfortable with it.
Okay. And I realize this is a whole new plan, but since we just looked at this a month ago, I still harken back to that. Were there any amenities on the acres side of this? I know before there was a clubhouse over there and several other things because it was a separate piece.
Right.
Are there any amenities on this side for the residents on this side?
As of now, those amenities have not been finalized. The developer and staff have talked about potential amenities, in particular within this detention area, which is rather large, putting something in there to benefit the residents, a gazebo, some sort of other amenities, walking trail, things like that. Those just haven't been finalized yet. But the scale of the amenities from the previous one is not being proposed at this time.
And there was something in the staff report about the possibility of the acres side sharing the pool and things on the ridge side. Is that?
Well, there is no pool. There's on the ridge side. There's a playground.
Okay.
And these are discussions that we've had with the applicant. I would leave that up to him as to how he plans to have these two planning areas function. They are being preliminary platted together, so they could be open to each other. But I will
separate homeowners associations, that might make it difficult, though.
It might, but I believe that that could be something that could be written into covenants or something to allow cross-access between the two subdivisions, if that's something that the commission so desired.
And lastly, again, going back to the previous plan, there were some age restrictions on the acre side. Has that all been removed completely?
Yes.
Okay.
Are there any other questions by the Commissioner Fairbanks?
I was just curious, with the reduction in the front footage on the cul-de-sacs, is there going to be any issue with the street trees that need to be installed on each of those lots?
There shouldn't be.
Okay.
However, that's something that we'll look at with the PD final plan and the final landscape plan. And if there's any types or any reductions or any further things that need to be addressed, then we will find that through that review.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Hearing none, would the applicant like to come forward? Then, of course, need to be sworn in. Yes.
Some sort of testimony about giving space and groups like that.
I do. Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Jeremy Powell, Powell CWM, 3200 South State Route 291 in Independence, Missouri. Staff did a great job on the report, so I'm not really going to add much unless you have any questions.
Okay. Are there any questions for the applicant, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner?
Go back to my first question about the revision of the street layout from the previous plan to this one on the acre side. Is there a reason why we now only have 2 access points and no access to the parkway?
Yes, one of the concerns in our previous proposal was that access on Adams Dairy. So to relieve that concern of sight visions, we just removed it. And it was going to take quite a bit of fill. So looking at value engineering, we just eliminated the entrance.
Okay. What about why we don't connect the 2 streets together and went to 2 cul-de-sacs instead of
You
a-
just lose yield.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think they were worried about traffic coming out of there and not being able to be seen as they came down before. So is that why you probably
That's
eliminated it? For safety
Nothing,
reasons?
I live on a cul-de-sac, but I just like having multiple ways of getting in and out of someplace, so.
Well, you'll just get to see the neighbors. All right, any other questions for the applicant? Gather not.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, would anyone like to come and speak in favor of this project? Anyone would like to come and speak in opposition? Is there any other comments provided by commissioners? Hearing none, I'm going to close the hearing, and I would entertain a motion. We will have a motion for number 3 first.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner?
I move that rezoning request RZ 08186556 for Hoodell be approved as submitted.
Okay.
Second.
Commissioner Graham, go ahead. All right, roll call, please.
Planning Commissioner Cradoff.
Aye.
Commissioner Casey.
Aye.
Commissioner Graham.
Aye.
Commissioner Fairbanks.
Aye.
Commissioner Peel.
Aye.
Commissioner Haney.
Aye.
Commissioner Billups.
Aye.
Commissioner Veal.
Aye.
Chairman Banks.
Aye. Okay, that motion was approved for the public hearing rezoning of Hoodell. It will be heard by the City Council October the 1st, and they meet at 6 p.m. So we will go to item 4. I would entertain a motion for the public hearing plan development concept plan for Hoodell.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner?
I move that plan development concept plan PDC 08186558 for Hoodell be, with the 4 conditions, be approved as submitted.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Casey? All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Graham.
Aye.
Commissioner Fairbanks.
Aye.
Commissioner Peel.
Aye.
Commissioner Haney. Commissioner Billups.
Aye.
Commissioner Veal.
Aye.
Commissioner Cradoff.
Aye.
Commissioner Casey.
Aye.
Chairman Banks.
Aye. Okay, that motion carried over the public hearing plan development concept for Hoodell with the 4 conditions. That will also be heard by the City Council October the 1st at 6 p.m. All right, now we'll go to the preliminary plan, item 6. I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner?
I move that preliminary plat PP 08186557 with the 12 conditions be approved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, same sign. That motion carried, so preliminary plat for Hoodell was also approved. Thank you very much. Is there any other business?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Billups.
2 big things going on downtown before our next meeting.
Okay?
On October 13th, which is the Saturday before our next meeting, the Historical Society is having their grand opening for the depot. They're ready to show off all the work they've done, and that will be on October 13th from 1 to 4 p.m.
1 to 4. Okay.
Everyone is welcome to
Take a look.
take a look. Secondly, on October 15th, which is the day of our next meeting, the Downtown Alive will be having their annual chili lunch fundraiser. Don't want to miss that out at Pizza Shop. That goes from 11 to 1. Tickets are $8 in advance, $10 at the door, and I just happen to have some with me if anybody wants one.
Well, that's wonderful. So they can come by and see you too?
Yes.
At your shop? Buy tickets there from you?
And tickets are, lunch is available for eat-in, carry-out, or delivery, so.
Oh, my. Okay. Now, is it cheaper to buy in advance?
It is cheaper, 8 in advance, 10 at the door.
Okay. I had a reason I asked. I figured it was. Okay.
I may be in error, but it looks like our next scheduled meeting is October the 8th. So our next meeting will be before both of these things, correct?
Well, yes, but these are after.
Yeah, I misspoke. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay.
I still want everybody to know about it.
You have another chance to mention it.
He just,
I
yeah,
can do that.
he had his weeks off, but he had
Usually
to get his
when we're
tidbits.
talking about the 14th or 15th, that would be about the time of our meeting, so that's the,
He just had to get his
I
chili
haven't
bit
actually-
in, see.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll listen to you about downtown anytime. All right, are there any other, I know we have our October 8th meeting
We do.
scheduled.
We do have a number of items for that evening's meeting already. A couple of public hearings, as well as some site plan design review and preliminary plats and master alternative sign plan to kind of give you a scope of what's coming forward. So
Okay.
we will be meeting on the 8th.
All right. So everybody try to be here for that one. Any other business? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Also move.
Okay. So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ben. Second. All right. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you and have a good evening.